wrestling with wrestling's past and present.
How old were you?
I was -3.
JR is trying to contain Jim Ross.
McFlurry,
It's Mick Foley. Do you see any of the aggro crag? Was any of that left over?
No, unfortunately not.
No?
I'm taking some of that home.
Definitely not is the barn burner that Leaf Cassidy and Tiger thing was, but we'll leave that there.
We digress.
God, I hope that storyline ends soon.
And 6 to 8 weeks later, they mail you a freaking magnet.
Yep. You may know him as the Red Rooster.
Is it still real to me? Damn it!
He kept making out with his wife. It was weird. So then, I'm waiting for them to put the Selena Vega on a pole match.
And I mean, Big E's got Whale performing in his entrance, so I feel like
Wale.
Wale. I don't listen to. Okay, well, I don't listen to him, so I apologize to Wale.
This is in the mail, my good sir. No, it wasn't. Paul.
I feel like Vince is just gonna have them team together and be like, have them called Woo Bro. Like they're just gonna be the Woo Bros. Like, anyway.
Giving us a reason to come here and listen to ourselves talk.
Absolutely,
And then you can listen to us too.
Strap on and balls only on wrestling past and present.
This is Gangrel, the Vampire Warrior, and you're listening to Wrestling where wrestling's past and present.
This is Wrestling with the Wrestling's Past and Present. I'm Tim Kurt.
I'm Roland Fulos.
And I'm Mongo.
And today it is episode 127. We're going to be discussing WWF Insurrextion from 2001. Before we get into that, though, I just want to send another thank you to Jonathan Life for coming and doing another interview with us last week. I think we're all in agreement it's one of our best episodes we've ever done. So if you haven't gotten a chance to check it out, take a listen wherever you listen to your podcast, wherever you normally listen to us. Take a listen. It's definitely one that you don't want to miss. And again, thanks to Jonathan Life for coming on last week.
A very inspiring episode, even if you're not, a wrestling fan, or you don't really know who he is, or you don't really know who we are. If you just happen to stumble across it, the messages that come from that episode, you can apply to almost everything in life. So no pun intended. But it really was, you could tell it was from the heart, and you could tell that, this guy lived it, and you can't fake that. And that was the best part about it, is that we talked about it afterwards, that like there were parts where I got choked up talking about certain things because he was, so passionate about certain things. And I'm not, I'm 36 years old. I'm not afraid to admit, the Brody episode, Scott Hall episode, stuff like that. This episode emotionally was up there for me. It wasn't quite to that level just because I wasn't like, oh man, but like the ride that it takes you on, second to none.
Absolutely. It's the one thing I love about wrestling. People can crap on the sport of wrestling. Yes, it is a sport. I don't care what you say. You can crap on the entertainment aspect, but it brings you together in so many different ways. And like you just said perfectly, Roland, it hit on every level: fatherhood, being a man, your goals, aspirations, dreams. This is our dream. We love doing this podcast, whether we have one person listen, hi Linda, or we have over 100 people listen. I love doing this because this is what we're passionate about. And, he definitely inspired me to really love wrestling more. I may crap on Cody Rhodes, I may crap on WWE sometimes, but I still love the product. I still love wrestling. And so, yes, thank you again, Jonathan. It was a great interview. Listen to episode 17, then listen to 126. Listen to both his episodes. Both are great interviews. One's in a closet, one's not. So one has a little bit better sound quality. But
so we'll take you behind the curtain a little bit. When Roland and I did the first interview on episode 17, we had no idea how to do this. So we literally had the phone sitting on top of the microphone, and that's how we recorded the interview. So it doesn't sound that great, but it's still a good interview. But we've come a long way since then.
Well, technology has too. It's not really your fault. I mean, if you think about it, pre-pandemic, how many people knew about Zoom or StreamYard? No one. I mean, I didn't. When I thought Zoom, I was like, is it that terrible show from the 80s? Come on in, Zoom. Come on in, Zoom. Like, I didn't know what Zoom was until the pandemic, and now suddenly it's like a verb. Like, oh, you want to Zoom?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and speaking of my mom, she did want me to say hi to you guys. I talked to her earlier tonight, so
Hi, Linda.
so it's comical that Mongo already said hi back. So
Well, let's get right into Insurrextion 2001. It's a UK only pay-per-view. This kind of starts off with the segment in Commissioner Regal's office. Vince McMahon's coming in, and the whole card has changed. And we find out that was because of Linda McMahon. She wanted to get the fans what WWE deserves, and apparently they didn't deserve much the first couple matches.
Hey, now let's put some respect on the late Grandmaster Sexay.
Well, that's true. Yeah, we'll get into that. But that's our first match: Grandmaster Sexay versus a young Eddie Guerrero. I was surprised how young looking Eddie Guerrero was here, and this is only about 4 years before he passes away.
Yeah.
4 or 5 years. So he just looks so different and so much younger there. It's kind of a shame this match only got 4.5 minutes. I think they both could have put on a really good performance. Grandmaster Sexay, I think, is a little bit underrated. He was kind of, I think, hindered by his gimmick because he was more of the comical gimmick. And I don't think he really showcased what he could do in the ring. But we've covered a match or two of his before on the show, and he's a good wrestler and a good worker. So I would have liked to see maybe get 3 more minutes, maybe have a 7-8 minute match. I think they could have really put on something special. Other than that, it was just kind of a okay opener for me.
I think he was even more hindered by his last name. I know some fans may not realize, but his name wasn't Brian Christopher. It was Brian Christopher Lawler. Mm-hmm. And I think that there were times where Vince and Jerry had issues, and I think that trickled down. So he never got like a legitimate push. I mean, I know he had the Too Cool stuff with Scotty Duhati, Rikishi, and stuff like that, and like they were mid-card kind of tag team, But I mean, him as a performer never got that singles push ever. And I honestly think just because of how spiteful Vince can be sometimes that having Jerry as his father negatively affected. I mean, they made fun of it all the time. Like they would play off that it wasn't his son, but then it was his son. And like, they just played games with the whole thing. And I think that's kind of how Vince viewed him, unfortunately.
No, you're 100% right. I was thinking about that too, because this was his last appearance until 2014 when the NXT arrival that we covered when they had the surprise appearance. And then obviously with his issues and him passing away, I agree with you. I was thinking the same thing because, Jerry the King Lawler had just walked out in February of this year after the Cat was fired, missing WrestleMania for the first time for him in a long time. So you almost kind of feel like, was this just more of a, just go out there. We don't really care. You just made the trip because we needed a body. So, and, Eddie Guerrero, was going through a rough patch. This is a little before he would leave and come back. So, both these guys are kind of battling their demons too. So that's what's hard. Like you said, Tim, he looks young because I think he hadn't bulked up yet, because when he came back, and he was with China and he had that great run, the lie, cheat, steal gimmick. He was swollen. He was like a beefy man. He got the mullet. He looked scrawny. Like you said, he looked young. I agree. Needed more time. There's just too short of a match.
Yeah.
And without going into too much detail too, I think that when you have the long hair kind of scrawny look, you always, unless you have something that makes you stand out, because even Eddie at this point didn't quite have that charisma yet either. He hadn't really found himself, and I think that didn't help him either, because even in Vince's eyes, Vince is like, oh, it's a Mexican star that will have, for the like they do for the Latino, for SmackDown, they're always like, we need to have Latino, we need to have Mexican stars, and we need to have all this stuff and all it. I think that was Vince's plan. He's like, well, he's got a heritage, his last name, he's Mexican, so like let's just and like I said, Eddie wasn't really given the chance to like blossom it's kind of like Grandmaster Sexay at the time. He wasn't really given that chance. And then when he came back, like you said, Mongo, I mean, he earned everything he got when he came back.
Yeah.
No, yeah. There's a really good interview. I don't know if you guys have heard it. Vicky Guerrero does a podcast, and she talks to a couple.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I think that's the name of the podcast, actually. But if you can get past the intro, she talks about how that was also a rough time for her and her daughter, because I think she's talking to her daughter in the episode, and how he had to go out in the Indies and prove himself. So you're right. So it's weird because, obviously without jumping too far, all the Radicals are on tonight. It's just how all 4 of them came in, and it's just drastically different. All their careers went. It's insane.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you had one of them that was married to a mop, so.
Yep.
Boy.
Before we move on and get to that guy, I do want to just kind of do some housekeeping because I don't want people to hate tweet Mongo here. Brian Christopher did make an appearance in 2011 during the whole Michael Cole, Jerry Lawler storyline.
True.
Where Cole brought him out. So people are going to, I know how people are. They're going to say, oh, no,
Sorry.
you forgot about the
Last pay-per-view appearance,
Yeah.
so I apologize. Yes.
No, I'm actually looking out for you, Mongo. I'm not shitting on
Appreciate
you.
it. Appreciate it.
And this is the type of Tim we have when he hasn't missed episodes and
That's
stuff.
right.
He just dialed in, going. He's got all his info. So you it's a
I'll drink to
different
that.
Tim. Yeah, it's a different Tim when he's been with us in the groove. And I mean, that first episode back, Tim's like, I got nothing. And it's like, wait, no, you usually do. What happened?
Right.
So yeah, kudos to not getting any hate tweets sent to Mongo yet. I mean, we're only one match in.
No, not yet.
I think, Roland, I think your mute button's getting hit there. You sound a little choppy.
I'm nowhere near my mute button.
Okay.
Leave
I
the
can
man's
see
mute
it.
button alone.
Hey,
I'm gonna go get a Reese's.
Blue means-
Wow.
I have
Blue
some.
means
No,
good.
I have some in solidarity since you made fun of him.
Now he's on mute.
Blue means I'm not.
No, I. It was just sounding like so I was just making sure.
That's your internet. You should have blew the guy better. This guy gave you the best internet in the world, and we have that one clip of you.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Let me get this shirt in the picture too.
yeah.
Yeah.
We keeping this stuff in, or we edit this out?
The editor is asking us if we're keeping this stuff in.
Why would we get rid of it? This is us.
All right, we'll keep it
a
in.
late night.
It's another late night episode. All right. Where are we? What you got there now? Cheese puffs? Puff corn. Okay.
So what's next up, Tim?
I have no idea. We're off the rails. We're only one match in. We have Mr. Mop here. Perry Saturn, Dean Malenko, the Radicals. I guess it was a 6-man tag. It's a little confusing because it was supposed to be a 6-man mixed person tag. Then Terry says she's not wrestling in her outfit. And then the Hollies come out with Molly Holly, but then Terry and Molly fight. So I don't know if it was a 6-man or a regular tag. Anyways, the Radicals win.
It was a segment.
It was a segment. I don't think anybody cared about this match at all. Luckily, it was only 5 minutes long, and not much else to say about this.
But Linda made sure the fans got what they wanted.
Yeah, they did.
So my question is, she came out and she was saying, like, I don't want to wrestle in this skirt. And then and then Michael Cole, this is before he lost his voice in the show, was talking about her skirt. And then Paul Heyman, horrible on commentary, by the way, was talking about how people tonight he was awful. They were talking about her skirt. So it was like you knew something was going to happen because every chance they got, they were like, "Oh, her short skirt, it's ripped up the side." And then she gets Cesaro swing by Molly Holly. So they didn't get what they want. They got to see her butt. They got to see Goldust White's butt.
There's always some nudity in these UK shows. Jacqueline had some nudity in one of these shows, and I guess they could get away with it there. All right, next up, we have a segment where Big Show comes out. He's a heel at this point, just in case you're keeping track of his heel face turns.
He's a heel.
That's awful.
It is awful.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it. Roland's better.
He's a heel.
Okay, there you go.
I was going to say Tim's definitely better than I am at doing that.
So he calls out Test. Test is injured. Test, comes out, gets beat down by the Big Show. Big Show basically issues an open challenge. He goes like halfway up the ramp before somebody answers it. Bradshaw comes out and they have a match, I guess, 3 minutes long. Bradshaw gets the win. Again, just another segment, and I guess this is what the fans wanted, according to Linda.
Linda knows best.
That's right.
So,
pretty sure they could have had a reality show.
dude, are we going to get copyright strike for Tim singing Test theme song almost? Because he said Test a lot. So I feel like we're going to get a strike for saying this.
This is the best. This.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. What?
I don't understand the point of this whole match / segment too. Is just a way to get Bradshaw to look strong for no reason. Yeah. And the acting by Test was just terrible. Like he's holding his like left side, then he's holding his right side. So it's like, okay, which side's injured, bro?
He didn't pass the test.
He failed. But yeah, just to think, he was supposed to marry Stephanie McMahon too. So yeah.
But then he had he beat Shane the lover or leaver match.
Well, then everybody's favorite superhero, the game, Triple H, saved that from happening. Here's an interesting question, okay? And I'm not going to crap on the late Andrew Martin, okay? Everybody knows that's Test, okay? So there you go. Let's say Test and Stephanie get married. Do you have a 2-man power trip of Test and Stone Cold Steve Austin?
Could only hope.
Like, and then not only that, like, no offense to Test, like when he passes away, like what do they do? Is it like a storyline where he blows up in a limo, or like do they? And again, I'm not trying to crap on the fact he's gone. I'm just saying, like, think of like everything that would have been set differently, and what would Paul Levesque be doing right now? I mean, obviously he'd still be involved, but like it's weird to think. And I know it was kayfabe. I get that, so that's why I'm kind of making a joke about it. I'm not joking about a man dying. Like that's not the joke here. The joke is, what happens if Triple H and Stephanie get married, but yet on TV she's married to Test, and it just that.
So it would have been cool if they did kind of like an MJF Wardlow, like in the beginning situation with Triple H and Test. Test be that bodyguard who's just like the muscle for Triple H, the chicken shit heel. Like he's being smart. He's got the hired muscle kind of thing. So, they could have gone that way, but I just think, he was a great character, but I think he was just too green in the ring. So I just don't think he had the right moveset in the ring to really get where he needed to be. So I think that's probably why
he's jacked. But he's jacked. God damn it! Put him on TV.
I mean, but still, can we talk about the Motley Crue segment? I mean, how cool that was when he just like threw that like extra off the stage. The guy runs up and does and he just grabs him and just hucks him off the stage. And at the time, you're like, did the roadie just throw the guy off the stage? And then obviously you realize a week later it's an angle, but like that's still low key one of the best like intros someone's had. Besides Santino Marella, that's kind of one of the best like random wrestler appearance intro that they did.
That is Santino Marella.
Next up is a 4-way tag team elimination match featuring 3 of the best tag teams of all time and X Factor.
Oh, you got him. You got him.
What happened?
You got him. He spit his freaking beer out almost. Oh, you got him.
I was like, wait, you're like, it's a 4-way tag. You're like 3 of the best tag teams. I was like, oh, what's the joke?
Oh, man.
You never know what you get from me tonight.
As soon as you said that, he was like, oh, shit.
I know I had to. I didn't want to spit take off my PS5 over here. Like, oh, no, shit. I'll have to buy Rollins off him because I can't find another one.
You can fucking have it. Well, no. So here, I know this has nothing to do with anything. Mostly, I play MLB The Show. Well, so on PS5, the input lag is worse than it is on Xbox. Either new Xbox. So like, it's been proven too. Like the input controller lag is like a real thing. Like all the people that usually stream on PlayStation have switched to Xbox because it's that much better. So yeah, I don't know. It sucks. It's weird.
Well, I have PlayStation a list of companies that won't sponsor our podcast, but there's hope for Xbox though.
I just want PlayStation to fix their input lag. Like I don't really care if they sponsor us. I mean, that would be cool too. But like, fix your shit. The game is made by PlayStation, guys. The game is made by PlayStation, and they still can't figure out their input lag. I'm just saying.
I think Tim needs to make a list of people who won't sponsor us because it's a longer list than ones who will.
Yeah, I know.
But thank you, Clemento's in Rochester, New Hampshire.
What's that? Chester's cheese? What's that? Chester's?
Popcorn. Chester's popcorn?
Chester's popcorn. All right, Chester's, come on. All right, we're really off the rails today. So Ed and Christian, getting back to the show, they're going to get a win over the Dudley Boys, the Hardy Boys, and X Factor, which was X-Pac and Just Incredible with Albert. 13 minutes. So much talent in this match. I mean, this is probably where the pay-per-view kind of starts to pick up a little bit just for talent alone. But this rivalry was still really green here. Really young. I can't watch Roll and Eat. But yeah, this.
Fight.
It's like Tekken Tag Tournament or whatever it is called. But yeah, so I mean, this is a match that is not discussed in their rivalry, but it was a pretty good match. Not their best, but it was pretty good.
All right, Mongo, I'm putting you on the spot. Rank those 4 tag teams. Go. And like legitimately, not like trying to be funny. Rank those 4 tag teams.
All right, so Hardy Boys are number 1 for me, just because they're the first tag team I saw. Then I got to say Edge and Christian, which they're tied for number 1, just because without Edge and Christian, you don't have a solid tag team division in WWE. Then the Dudley Boys, and then literally anyone else, and maybe X Factor. Because I like X-Pac, but he was like him and Justin Credible. Just besides their song, like, they had a banger of an entrance song.
I got everything I ever wanted. I know you hate X Factor. Yeah, that was a pretty good banger for back in the day. Uncle Cracker representing.
But yeah, so I don't want you to follow me because I don't think they were. I just don't think they were a great team together. Honestly, X-Pac and Kane were better together than X-Pac and Justin Credible. And I'm gonna have a hot take, and you can at me at WWPAP Bongo or at Roland Fields and tell me I'm wrong too, or at T-Carrot on air. Excuse me.
Don't put me in the middle of this.
No, I'm just saying you can. But here's my hot take. I don't think Justin Credible was that good of a worker. I think he was carried by better talent pretty much most of his career. I don't think he was as good in the ring, as some of these other people. So I think that's what it was. I think he had a good psychology. I just think he was just stiff in the ring. He was more like a brawler style, but he wasn't like the best worker, to say, I guess you should say.
Mongo in here shitting on PJ Walker.
Oh, I forgot he used TNA for another. Oh my God. I'm just saying, like, I'm not saying he's like the worst wrestler. I'm just saying, if you look at like the upper echelon of wrestlers, maybe lower mid card. Like, I don't think he would be, in that next level tier. Just
so you're not saying that he's just incredible.
I'm saying he's just all right.
You're like, he's just mediocre.
Next up is a 2 out of 3 falls match. You have Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle. Match goes about just over 14 minutes. I thought this match was really good. I'm a little surprised that Benoit won 2 straight falls. Normally they have these play out where it's, a 3-fall match, but I kind of like the surprise of it going 2 falls. But yeah, it's just it was really good. These two are 2 of the best wrestlers to ever step in the ring. I always cringe when I see the Benoit diving headbutt, just because we know what happened with him. And then he got the first fall that way. But yeah, this was a really solid match. And a little surprising because they were kind of trying to push Kurt in this era. And a little surprising he took the loss here.
Yeah, I mean, we covered Chris Benoit ad nauseum and how his life ended and whatnot and everything else. So there's really no point to get into that. But as a performer, I think a lot of people, if they can look past that, what we just were talking about, he's in the top 15, 20 of like pure performers. Obviously, it gets clouded by what happened. But, and I mean, Kurt Angle's right there too. I think I think if Kurt Angle never went to TNA, I think that we wouldn't be able to appreciate what Kurt Angle was, because he had kind of played his course out in WWE, and his run in TNA really solidified him as like a top guy that could go. I mean, granted, he definitely had some demons at the time and whatnot, but you can't, looking back at this time, you can't pick 2 better mat wrestlers to have that type of a series of match. Sometimes you have best 2 out of 3 and you're like, wow, this match was hot garbage. Well, this match wasn't. And it's because both of these guys were capable. And I don't even think Kurt Angle was in his prime yet. I don't think he'd gotten there yet. And that's what's impressive about this.
So I almost kind of always think of when Kurt Angle had hair is when he started his comedy run. And then when he lost his hair, he became the wrestling machine. So I almost kind of think, like you said, this wasn't Kurt Angle, wrestling machine, Hall of Famer, like he could out wrestle anyone. This was Kurt Angle just finding that groove between comedy and good wrestling, working with another technical wrestler who, by all accounts, like Roland said, is top 15, probably even top 10 performers of all time, marring the tragedy and horrific things that he did. With that being said, the match told a great story. The Kurt Angle played a great heel. Benoit, being relatively new to WWE, kind of showcased himself that he could hang with someone who's an Olympic gold medalist. I mean, even the spot when he pulled the gold medals out of his crotch at the end, saying, "I kept them nice and warm for you," it showed a good story. And it showed that, Kurt Angle could play off that well. So I think, they've wrestled a lot. This was probably not one of the best matches, but it was definitely up there. And I think so far it's the match of the night for me.
I made them extra sloppy for you.
I know how your kids like them sloppy.
Tim, that's from Billy Madison. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie.
I have seen that one,
Okay.
actually.
Yes!
Yeah.
You got one. You got one.
That is correct.
Yep.
All right, let's mark that down.
That's the one where he has to go back to school, right?
Back
Yes.
to school.
Yeah, okay.
Back
All right.
to
I just
school.
make sure I'm thinking of the right one. Next up is a singles match for the Queen's Cup, whatever the hell that is. It's Chris Jericho getting a win over William Regal by submission with the Walls of Jericho in about 15 minutes or so. Again, I could watch these guys work all day. This was a great match, I thought. I mean, they had good chemistry. This is obviously a younger Chris Jericho here. And a little surprising, William Regal actually got booed kind of here, even though even though the event was in the UK. They actually showed a really cool video package earlier on the show where he's doing a lot of meet and greets and fan fest type of events and stuff, and he got a really warm reception. So see him kind of get a negative reaction by the crowd was kind of a little surprising. But this was a really solid match, and I really liked it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that you can look to today and you still have Regal and Jericho both relevant today. I know Regal's not necessarily wrestling anymore, but the stuff he's doing with the Blackpool Combat Club is top notch. And Jericho, I mean, somebody trying to think, I think it was Kurt Angle that mentioned that he thinks that Chris Jericho is better than Shawn Michaels, which Kurt, crack pipe or whatever you're on right now, I think that you're like slightly mistaken. They're close, don't get me wrong. But Chris Jericho never had a career-ending injury that kept him out for 4 years. And to me, that's the difference. I know Jericho had a longer career and whatnot, and you can compare him to The Undertaker if you want, based on longevity. But performer in the ring, nobody's touching Shawn Michaels. Sorry, nobody's touching. I mean, Jericho's close, but he ain't touching him.
No, that's very fair. And I think Kurt bases it more off of, like you said, what he's done in his career, how long his career is. So like you said, yeah, I think Kurt's kind of more biased because, Jericho went to New Japan, AEW, was in WCW. But like you said, Shawn Michaels arguably had 2 Hall of Fame careers. Kurt Angle arguably had 2 Hall of Fame careers. Chris Jericho will arguably have 2 Hall of Fame careers. But like you said, the difference is in the ring, toe-to-toe, even when you watch Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho square up at WrestleMania, Shawn Michaels is Mr. WrestleMania for a reason. He is the showstopper for a reason. In the ring, he's one of the best in the ring. Chris Jericho is one of the best characters and a very technical wrestler. So, but I will say Chris Jericho has that person. He can just keep reinventing himself and he can stay relevant. Shawn Michaels could out-wrestle him in the ring. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, it kind of depends on how you define the greatest of all time because, wrestling, you have to be, there's the in-ring component, there's the character component, there's the promo component. There's a bunch of different things that, you can take into consideration. So are you talking about pure wrestling? Then I don't think anybody touches Shawn Michaels. If you're talking about character-wise, I think Chris Jericho does have the edge over Shawn, because Shawn basically had, besides the rocker gimmick, basically had the sexy boy Heartbreak Kid gimmick his whole career. So character-wise, I think the edge is to Jericho. So it kind of depends on how you define greatest of all time.
I think that's why it always bothers me about the Hulk Hogan conversation. People call him the greatest wrestler of all time. He was probably the greatest gimmick of all time. He was the most over gimmick of all time.
Yeah.
Wrestling ability was not there for me enough. Not saying he was a bum, but he was
one of the most important.
Yeah, he was the most larger than life. He was the one that, my grandmother, who never saw a match in her life, could tell you who Hulk Hogan was.
I think he's definitely one of the most important of all time.
Absolutely.
And Cena's in the same boat.
Yeah.
Almost identical careers to Hogan, where it's a mainstream name. Cena had 5 moves. Hogan had 5 moves. Like, if you look at, Cena was the next Hogan.
I would even put Austin in that category too. I mean, I think Austin
to a degree,
a little bit of a better wrestler than Hogan and Cena, but still, I mean, he wasn't the greatest.
No.
Character.
So that's why, I always hate and I know we went off topic a little bit, but that's why I always hate when they have the Mount Rushmores, because first of all, it's only 4. Excuse me, I didn't hit mute in time. So you have the wrestler and you have the gimmick. So that's why it's hard for me when I see people's lists. They'll be like Undertaker, Hogan, Flair, Shawn Michaels. I'm like, okay, Shawn Michaels and Flair, that belong up there for wrestling. Maybe Flair belongs up there for wrestling and gimmick. Don't get me wrong. But Hogan doesn't belong up there for wrestling, pure wrestling. So that's why I hate that question, because, like you said it perfectly, Tim. There's so many elements that make it so. I think credit goes going by the total package. But again, I disagree with Angle too, and I think that honestly, we should look at it as who's the greatest wrestler of all time and who's the greatest gimmick of all time. And so to me, Jericho's going to probably win. Essentially, the most the greatest character. And I think the greatest gimmick will always be Hogan, because it was so over. So it's hard to put into different categories. So I think that's such a hard question. I think that's why it's such a hot topic on the internet wrestling community, because everyone has different definitions. Like we were talking about earlier with Chris Benoit, his gimmick was not there at all. He was like a Lance Storm. He had some personality, but his wrestling is what told the story. Him going in there and having a match with paper towel, it would be relevant. Bret Hart, no personality really. He tried but didn't really have a personality. One of the best in the ring, but missing that character. So some of these wrestlers can overcome a mediocre character and be great. But if you're not great in the ring and have a mediocre character, you're never going to make it.
Yeah.
And you weren't talking about Lex Luger when you said total package, right?
Oh, hell no.
Okay, just checking. I didn't want somebody to tweet
he's not
you.
even in the parking lot of Mount Rushmore.
So we made it to our main event. It's a handicap match for the WWF Championship. The Undertaker can only win the belt if he pins Steve Austin. So it's the Undertaker against the Power Trip, which is Steve Austin and Triple H with Stephanie McMahon Helmsley. Match goes about 17 minutes with the Undertaker getting the win, but of course he pins Triple H and doesn't win the title. The match was good. I mean, there's some shenanigans with Vince coming out and everything. I thought the match was all right. What I didn't understand is shouldn't the Undertaker be pissed that he didn't win the title at the end? He just kind of just did his normal stick at the end of a match that he won, and I'm like, you didn't win the title, so shouldn't you be mad or something? Or I didn't get that part.
It made him look dumb. Why would you pin Triple H when you have to pin Stone Cold for the title? It made him look dumb. I'm just gonna pin him because he got hit with a chair. And then it's but you don't win anything but the match. And they even made a big deal of it at the end. They're like, he won the match. He's gonna go home the victor. It's but he didn't win the title.
It's like when you win a match by disqualification and the title stays with the guy. It's oh, he won, but here's the title. Haha, fucker.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff in wrestling I can't stand. Where it's the storyline makes no sense. Why you do that? And I get it because they want to keep the 1-man power trip together until Triple H blow his quad out in 2 weeks. 2-man power trip. Sorry, but yeah, it's just I don't know. And I kind of look at it as going back to Jericho. It's funny is if Triple H didn't blow his quad out, does Jericho get the push he got? That's why I was thinking about watching this tonight. Triple H is going to go, and fight, and essentially against Jericho and blow his quad out. Jericho puts him in the walls of Jericho. That infamous moment where his quad's not even on his bone, and he's in the walls of Jericho screaming in real pain. And Triple H kind of Triple H'd himself. Jericho got the Triple H push of, okay, well now he's gone, so I got to be the guy. I'm going to get the undisputed titles down the line. What would he have been back to Terra Ryzing in the Invasion? Would they have done that stupid with him? Like, what would have 2001 been for Triple H if he didn't tear his quad? Because he really missed the last half of the year after this.
How's your cookie rolling?
It's not a cookie; it's a donut.
Oh, it's a donut. Okay.
Round 2.
Round 2, right? Cinnamon donuts. Those are good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that wraps up Insurrextion 2001. I thought it was a decent show. I shouldn't. Maybe decent's too strong. Because the beginning of it wasn't really good. I would probably give this a 5.5 on a rating of 10.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I think it's a very mediocre show. Even like Mongo said, you have that dumb ending at the end where like the Undertaker's like, I won. It's like, yeah, but you didn't win anything. Like you won the match. But yeah, I'd say it's somewhere around a 5.5 at most. And it's too bad too, because like Tim said, some of the names on this card, it definitely could have been better, I think.
It kind of felt like just a Monday Night Raw over in the UK. So I would give it like a 5.5. You had the segment of Terry Reynolds. That wasn't really a match. It was a segment like on Raw. There was a lot of backstage promos and interviews during this show. Like the matches weren't too terribly long except for the last 3. Like they were all like 14 minutes just each. But man, it felt like a Monday Night Raw because it would be like they'd go backstage to Regal again. They go backstage to Vince. They go backstage to Triple H and Stephanie. And you're just like, this is supposed to be a pay-per-view in England. Those poor crowds like doing this the whole time, watching these stupid segments. And if you can't tell, I'm looking sideways. But like that has to suck. Like there's nothing worse when you go to a live wrestling show and they're making you watch a Titantron for like what feels like an hour. You're like, I paid to be in the arena. I didn't pay to watch TV. Like if I dropped $100 to sit in this small ass seat, pay $100 to park, get shitty ass food that I'm not going to eat. You gotta make me watch TV for 20 minutes. No, I want to see wrestling in the ring. Especially in England where they get like one show a year. Like I just didn't understand the logic. And like you said, top of the show, Linda McMahon's going to give the fans what they want. No,
the fans want their money back, is what they want. Speaking of money, Mick Foley, you still owe Tim $10.
That's right. And Mick Foley's got to know Ted DiBiase. You can't borrow like $10 off of him or something.
Yeah, Ted DiBiase's still probably dealing with the state of Mississippi right now, but so you probably just have $10 to give him right now. But
well, he could, but it wouldn't be his money to give.
Fun fact: do you guys know this was only our second show from 2001, like covering a 2001 show? The first one was unfortunately Invasion.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was Invasion.
So the only show we've covered you guys covered from 2001 was Invasions. Now this is only. So how crazy is that? We haven't really hit too many of the 2001. And I know we have a little time, so I figured I'd mention this. 2001 was such a crazy era for wrestling. I can't believe we've only covered 2 shows now.
Yeah, that is crazy to think about. We've done 127 of these things now.
Yeah.
Well, you got to think about it too, though. ECW and WCW closed that year, so there's not many shows to choose from those companies in 2001.
No, I know. I'm just saying, but you have Jericho getting the undisputed titles. You have the weird invasion angle where Stone Cold suddenly turns on WWE for no reason because he had such a great career in WCW.
You had WrestleMania 17. That's an Austin Rock WrestleMania.
You had like I said, still Austin's heel turn, one of the worst. Triple H he debuted the song "The Game" this year too. He started using Motorhead's version instead of the One Two. Is that sound?
I like it, dude. Low key, My Time was like a fucking sweet friggin' entrance music. I don't care. That was some good stuff.
It's crazy to think that I don't think Triple H has had one bad theme song, except maybe his when he was actually Hunter Hearst Helmsley and had that weird trumpet thing.
Feel the Joy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think from My Time on, I don't think he's had a bad entrance. King of Kings is phenomenal.
Evolution.
I love Evolution song. Yeah, That's kind of a fun topic to discuss, like the best entrance song of all time. We got a little bit of time here.
Yeah,
The best entrance theme that was specifically an entrance theme, not like Cult of Personality, but like an actual made entrance theme.
it's a tough one. I mean,
I'm gonna have a hot take on this. I'm gonna say that I actually like Hulk Hogan's WCW theme better than I did Real American at the time.
Voodoo Child.
No,
No,
his
he's American
WCW
Made,
one.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, American Made. Okay.
Yeah.
I was
I
like,
don't
you
know
just said
why.
it can't be a real song. Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, no, it was he's got the red, white, and blue running through his veins. Bam, 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 bam. That riff kind of sounds familiar, but whatever. I mean,
So do most of WCW songs.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, think of like the iconic ones too, like the NWO theme.
I was gonna say that.
That's so iconic.
Yeah, I think the Ultimate Warriors theme.
Yep.
It goes perfect with his character. I think. I believe the first wrestler to have entrance music. I think that was Sergeant Slaughter, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't know that for a fact. But I think it was.
I think
him.
you're right.
Somebody will tweet us if we're wrong.
And you can tweet us at www.papmongo.
Mongo. That's right.
As long as you follow us
handle.
at WWPAP Podcast on all of our socials. But,
Yeah,
no, that's really.
Well,
really
think of the.
I would have to say Stone Cold's theme too, not to cut you off because of the shattering of the glass in the beginning.
Well, and then think of the other themes you had, like the early day themes, right? So you have, Shawn Michaels, the Sherry version, like before it went to Shawn. Like you had like some of like those are some of the themes that I remember. Because I was at that age where like it was influential. Like Bret Hart, that the guitar riff at the beginning of his song, his theme song. Whenever that hit, the crowd would go nuts. And it's crazy to think. I mean. I like when they do on TikTok. I know Tim doesn't even know what TikTok is, but
I know what it is. It's what the clock sounds.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. 100% right. He's not wrong. I like they'll do like a blind react, and you have to rank the themes. Like, and I like watching people's opinions on where things go. They're all wrong usually, but it. I mean, think of some of the songs nowadays, like just the Adam Cole theme.
I think you guys are going to boot me off the podcast, but I think my favorite original wrestling theme is The Brood. I just think because it just, like the whisper, like chanting, and then it just picks up. And then like, I know the theatrics special, but I just think that's one of those songs that I remember, like when it came out, one of the WWF, the musics, I played that thing. I think that trap used to skip after a while because I played it so much. Because for people who are under the age of 25, they had these things called CDs, and unfortunately, if your CD player didn't have anti-skip, if it wasn't 10 seconds, you hit a bump, it would skip it.
You want to hear? Speaking of CDs,
this
is way off the topic, but I found this in my.
As long as it's not virtual, we have the CDs nuts.
Actually, my parents' CD. This is a blank CD. I don't know if you can see. Who the company logo?
Circuit City. Wow!
Wow! You don't have to worry about getting sponsored by them.
Nope. I have a whole stack of Circuit City CDs right there.
Roland, you gonna pull out a Blockbuster VHS tape? Because I know Tim won't have any movies over there.
No.
I wish I did. It's like a relic at that point. But like, so getting back to the entrance themes, like think of. Like here's another one of my hot take. Like Mongo had a hot take earlier. I'm going to give you one now. I don't think the TNA theme that Jeff Hardy had gets enough love from Peroxygen.
Or
the Peroxygen one. That was his band at the time. The one that goes like I don't think that theme was such a banger because again, as soon as it hit, you knew who it was, and everybody's like going friggin' nuts for Jeff Hardy, and it was one of those. It fit perfectly, especially the beginning of it. And I think that not saying it's better than No More Words, and I'm not going to say it's better than the basic Hardy Boy theme, but I think that one's one that's kind of slept on too. To be honest with you,
my take on this is, well, first of all, the only one that really has ever given me like chills is the Undertaker's Gong when that hits and the lights go down. But this might be my hot take. I think the Undertaker's best theme song was You're Gonna Pay. I thought that was his best.
You've
I-
done it
Gone
now.
Yeah,
He's
that was-
gone
You
and
gone and
made
made a big
thing.
mistake.
I think that was the best. I like that better than the Limp Bizkit
You
one.
think
Or
you just walk away, so
Yeah.
turn around and face the piper. You're gonna pay because the end is now. Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one's
that
a
was
good one.
good.
That one's a good one. I agree. And I mean, honestly, any of the themes we talk about, if like you can't sing part of it, then like fuck off.
Yeah.
Like you,
Well,
you know what I mean? Like if it has words,
Yeah.
like if you like and I'm talking about any fan, anybody like, oh, this song's great. Do you know any of the words? Like
Yeah.
no offense.
Well,
like
The one that just popped in my head going what you're saying is Eric Bischoff's WWE theme.
I'm back. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That
a
was
good one.
perfect for his character. Like the
And-
words in
and-
that song.
Think about like some of the Raw themes like back then, like those are bangers.
Yeah,
too.
those were good.
Like
Yeah.
those, I mean, SmackDown always usually had the shitty theme. Like they had like the beautiful people, and they had like.
I didn't mind the beautiful people. I thought that was all right.
Well, I'm just saying it wasn't to the par of like
Yeah,
some of the Raw themes were bangers.
yeah, they were good. Mongo's working on something here, by the way. If you're wondering why you're not hearing from him.
He's not very good at multitasking.
Is that Mattitude? Yep.
Yeah. Matt hated that song. No, I'm just kidding.
No, that one, like, I think low key, like I could slap. That one was a good tune too. Attitude. I know the character sucked, but that was a great song. And probably gonna get a copyright strike on that one because it went longer than I wanted. Because I thought I was trying to cue it up, Roland. I was multitasking. I just thought you were gonna cover me a little longer.
Hey, well, I didn't single you out first. Somebody else did.
That's because Tim's gonna drive us in the right direction. Because when it's you and I, we go 4.5 hours.
We're only like 45 minutes. We still have 15 minutes before my mom even complains.
Well, but it is Mother's Day weekend, so maybe this
Yeah.
is our Mother's Day gift to Linda.
Yeah, we'll keep it
short
at 59 minutes, 55 seconds.
Right?
But yeah, I mean, is there any other themes that really stick out to you guys? Like, honestly, that aren't like it's so like right now, to be honest with you, I hated Edge's new theme when it first came out. Now I'm like, man, this thing's a fucking banger. And I know it's a regular song. Like, I get it. But like that thing at first, I'm like, dude, fuck this. Like, this isn't right. And then like
AJ
the more you
Styles?
listen to it, oh yeah, AJ, yeah. Yeah, AJ is a good one.
Or to make Tim happy, don't turn your back on the wolf pack. You might end up.
Yeah,
in
the
a
Wolfpack
body
one
bag.
was
The
good.
Wolfpack. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I know people didn't like it because it went, the din din din.
Dun,
din,
dun,
But
yeah.
I just think that was a great one. Sting's Crow, his like second Crow theme song, where it was like I think these like two little girls would talk for a second, and then they'd be like, "He's here," not the Undertaker, "He's here," but like he has arrived. Then it would be like this slow build up. DDP's like Nirvana ripoff was pretty good.
So high five.
I think in terms of matching the character, I thought Bray Wyatt's theme was perfect. For
Which
him.
one? He had two good ones.
I think the original. I didn't the Fiend one was okay, but I like the original best.
I just like how they like added the guitar riffs. They just made that like I don't know. I just thought they made it cool until Goldberg ruined everything cool about the Fiend.
Fun. And like you have like some of the newer themes nowadays, what they've done with Seth Rollins, allowing him to kind of keep the burn it down and editing certain things in and making that. And then the Sami Zayn one, I mean, how iconic is that, with the like that? I mean, that it just and Becky Lynch's the same kind of way, same thing.
Shawn Michaels is iconic too. Like I mean, the sexy boy, and
I'm just a sexy Kurt.
Sexy
Kurt. I make your ankle hurt.
Ankle hurt. Or I mean, if you want to talk about comedy, what does everybody want?
Yeah, Alex Snow,
yeah.
Or even the awful, like some of the awful themes.
How about?
I just thought of one that we haven't. Go ahead, Roland.
I was gonna say, how about talking more about like the songs that fit the character? We mentioned him on this show, Chris Benoit.
Yeah.
I mean that Rabid Wolverine theme that he had. I mean, it just fit how like his character was. It just you hear that and it would just like, and you're like, okay, this fits. Like you can tell when a theme fits. I mean, a fun fact. That AJ Styles theme was originally made for James Storm.
Mm-hmm.
In case any of the fans didn't know that.
So the one that just came to my head, and I can't believe I haven't thought of it sooner. That I think it's a great theme. I think it's up there and one of the best of all time is "No Chance in Hell."
Yeah.
I mean, you got to go with that. I
Oh,
mean, that's a great
even
song.
here comes the money. I mean,
Yeah,
I
by
mean,
Naughty by Nature. Yeah.
Was it really by Naughty by Nature?
Yeah.
I did not know that. I was 10 years
was.
old.
Yeah.
But I mean, Jim Johnston, like I just feel like that dude. I think this was literally him. Like Roland knows, Tim. I've used these like memes going around where it shows a guy and he's opening a door. It's usually on TikTok, like, "Hey, I need a theme for this, and it can't be this." And he's like, "I got you." And he's hitting a button, and it plays like a great theme, and they're both vibing to it. Jim Johnston's that guy at the keyboard where Vince is like, "God damn it, I need something for the Royal Rumble. They Stone Cold ain't winning. No chance." Like that dude was a master. I don't think. And even CFO $, the group, like some of these composers in wrestling, Mikey Ruckus from AEW, they don't get enough credit for just how quick and like how like roll into the match character. Because you were talking about
Jimmy Hart,
Adam Cole's new theme for AEW, like it fits him. MJF, if you listen, he has like 2 versions of the song. If you listen on Spotify or after you listen to us, of course, there's one where it's like better than you. Like it's a very cocky song. So they have some of these themes out there. So I suggest people go out there, listen to some of these other themes. There's some cool, like modern themes that really fit. And I think that's fun. But I think before we go last one, I think we got to pick like, what's the worst theme you just, every time you hear, you're like, oh, this song fucking sucks.
Right to Censor.
That's not really a song though. That's just a siren.
Oh, along the same line, Scott Steiner.
Oh. Yeah. I think Goldberg's was just obnoxious. Like just always the piped in Goldberg. Like I know like WCW was real, but when you got to WWE, that shit wasn't real. I was in some of those crowds. I'm like, no one's chanting Goldberg that loud. It was just obnoxious because it was this big like I was watching Gladiator. That's a movie, Tim.
Wow. Had to get a shot in here. 50 minutes in.
No, but like that's what I'm saying. You think it's gonna be like this like grandiose Gladiator? It's just Bill Goldberg headbutting the door and busting himself open. Like, it's just I don't know.
I'm gonna give a hot take, and I know some people are probably not gonna like this one. I think the new Moxley theme, the Wild thing, sucks. I think it's horrible. I think that
it doesn't make sense.
No, and I think that. Like, I know Tony Khan's going for like we can get whoever we want to sing music because we have money. And it's like, I just, I get that he got the Tarzan thing for Jungle Boy and like what, and all this, like, okay. But like, to be honest, we get that Moxley's unhinged, that he's out there, that he's a little bit of a wild character, but like, no offense. Like I said, I'm sure there's people out there that are going to be like, oh, fuck you, man. You're wrong. It's like, no, I'm not. I think that is like the dumbest theme you could have for like,
especially now for his for the him and the BCC, like it doesn't make sense. No, his old one, the Unscripted Violence, like that one made more sense, and it made more sense when he did like the little Moxley Ambrose friggin' like shoulder like shrugs there, like he always seems to do.
So here's another thing too, like CM Punk comes out and he doesn't like do this anymore, and it fucking bugs the shit out of me.
Oh, the old No More Garcia Pyro.
Well, he doesn't do the whole like wrist thing. Like he used to get in the ring and he'd hop around. He'd do like he'd put his fingers together and he'd like flop his wrist. He doesn't do that anymore. It's like, what do you? Because you're 40 or something. Like you can't do it no more. Like,
it's called arthritis.
Everything cracks. He's like, oh fuck, I can't do that anymore. But like something as simple. And here's the other thing that really, honest to God, bugs me about the CM Punk entrance. I know that they couldn't copy WWE and just cut out that first part. But that first part drives me nuts. Like the initial, like, CM Punk when he was in WWE, they only had the second part of the first part of the song, if you know what I'm talking about. Instead, you have that whole extra, like it's like, and then all of a sudden the song's like, and it starts, and it's like we just waited 30 seconds for the song to start. Like, what the hell? Like, you don't need that in the front. Like, Tony Khan's like, we don't need to edit it. We need it to be different. It's like, well, it sucks. The beginning of it sucks. Like, I hate to break it to you. It sucks.
Well, that's just... I was gonna say, that's like my big cliche is nothing worse when someone's in the ring wrestling, and the opponent's music plays, and they're like watching, like it's just music. They're gonna attack you. I feel like that's the worst way to surprise someone. Like, surprise! Here's my song, so you know I'm coming.
Here's the warning shot.
This might be considered a hot take too. If I had to pick, I said right to censor kind of jokingly, but if I had to pick a horrible theme, Kurt Angle's theme. I've never been a big fan of that one.
You mean the Patriot theme?
The Patriot theme, Team USA's theme.
The Briscoe and Patterson coming out to that at one point. Then they came out to Real America. They've had so many themes together.
Yeah.
Have you heard like the rock version with like the hardcore drums too? That's like way too over the top.
Yeah, I never cared for that.
Well, and then you have Kurt Angle come back and go in the Hall of Fame, and he's like, "I'm glad you chant you suck." It's like, no,
yeah, right,
no, like that means you like me. It's like, no, they're telling you suck. Like that like, he's like, you suck. He's like leading the chant. He's like, I suck. I suck. It's like, what are you doing, Kurt? Come on.
I mean, I think another hot take I have. I think my last one before we go. I think John Cena's "Word Life." This is basic Thugonomics. Like the Thugonomics one was better than his Avenue shit. That is like I can't stand
Douche Canoe. I think it says Douche Canoe actually.
Douche Canoe.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it says.
I know like Cam's gonna disown me as his dad because that's like his favorite entrance, but I can't stand that song. It's just
no. I'm partial to Word Life too.
And it's just, and I remember too going and getting the Ruck Fools t-shirt and getting suspended for, in high school because I wouldn't turn my hat inside out. Sorry, it says Ruck Fools. It's like, sorry to like offend you. But like, that's why I liked him. So I think that's why I liked him better because I just think it fit his character better. And then when he became like the walking billboard Marine, like I didn't care for that pomp and circumstances. I felt like they were trying to make the Ric Flair like here's an instrumental song that you know very well. You know who this is. Because they were trying to recreate Ric Flair, let's face it. Like you said earlier at the top of the show, he was trying to be the next Hogan, next Ric Flair. So they pretty much did everything they could besides give him more red and yellow. They gave him every color of the rainbow, like Rock said, Fruity Pebbles.
By the way, you said pomp and circumstance. That was Randy Savage's theme.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry, what's the Nature Boy one's called? It's
Nature Boy, I don't know.
It's called something, but yeah, anyway, sorry.
It's called something.
It's called something.
Every song is called something stupid.
Ooh, we got a stupid
well, no, I'm just saying, like he stops with it's called something. No shit. They all have to have names. Come on. And obviously I'm not calling Bongo stupid. I'm just saying like the thought of saying that out loud is dumb. Like it's called something. No shit. We know it's called something. Come on. Jesus. Good thing you didn't do this shit last week with Jonathan Life. Jesus. Come on, Longo. You're smarter than that. You have the best job out of the three of us. Come on. You're smarter than this. Come on. Jesus.
Well, on that note, we should probably head on out of here.
I know we're gonna start having like really like we'll be like really name calling and like leaving calls and be like fuck this show and like yeah we probably should go before we
probably head on out. So thank you. We kind of went down the rabbit hole there, but this is fun, kind of shoot the shit a little bit on wrestling themes. So thank you for tuning in for Insurrextion 01.
Hey Tim, what's next week? Is it
I don't know because I'm really
94 or is it TNA first and then
it's TNA first? It's always good to get TNA first and then
my sacrifice.
Sacrifice 06. So looking forward to covering that.
Creed reference. Nice.
That's a great song, by the way.
Yeah. Here's one thing I will say: people shit on Creed, they shit on Nickelback. To be fair, their songs are pretty fucking good. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Like,
I agree. I'll back with you.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Anyhow,
so TNA Sacrifice 06 coming up for you guys next week. I mentioned this earlier. Once again, Happy Mother's Day to everybody out there. Mother's Day is tomorrow from when you're listening to this. So happy birthday happy birthday to
all the mothers.
If you have a birthday, happy birthday to you as well.
If you were born on May 8th, happy birthday to you.
But happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, especially Linda. Thank you for listening each and every week.
And Tim's the only one not drinking.
I know. So it's time for us to head on out of here before the show gets canceled.
It's our show.
Hey,
It's our show, yeah.
I did kind of spoil it. The following week is WCW Slamboree 94.
It's
so.
94, yeah. So we got 2 weeks. We're actually prepared 2 weeks in that
I know.
ahead, so that's pretty
It
good.
doesn't sound like we are, but we are.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it. No, definitely not.
I was going to say, believe it or not, there is a little bit of inner workings here that keeps us on. And here's another thing I'm going to mention too. I don't want to spoil anything, but if you enjoy us, there might be a chance that you guys are going to see and hear more of us. That's all I'm going to say.
That's true.
That's it. I'm not saying anything more. We'll see what happens.
Definitely keep that in mind. All right, we'll be back next week with TNA Sacrifice 06. Have a great week. I'm Tim Kurt.
I'm Roland Fulis.
And I'm Mongo.
And this is Wrestling with Wrestling's Past and Present.
I'm sorry I called you stupid, Mongo. I love you.
Love you too.
I hope you're all having a nice day.